pretty sure you come to the point where you've had death in your face, death all around you, and you're just not scared. Only young people are scared because you feel like you ain't done enough. You feel like you got other stuff to do. Older people don't feel that way. We done had fun, been everywhere, all across the country. For most people that, especially famous, it ain't nothing left to do. At a certain age, there ain't really nothing left to do. Not saying you're not grateful for the life that you live, but you've lived. So we're coming into a new time, and this new time, with all this stuff, you think that race stuff is going to go away. It's going to be there. It's going to be there too. It's penetrated the history of the world too long. No one did nothing about it too long. I don't care if you get rid of all of it. It's going to be somewhere else in another country. White American racism, if you have not noticed, it went global. It's everywhere. You got Nazis everywhere. You got skinheads everywhere. You got racist people everywhere. You can't get rid of racism. I'm sorry to tell you. But you can make harder laws. That boy that did that shooting, he should get 20 years, like I've been telling you. You do a crazy killing, you getting 20 years. If you don't toughen these laws up, racism ain't gonna never stop. A monster like that has to have harder charges against it. If you just sit up and don't make harder laws for the sake of not offending people, when you need to just clearly show them, this is why we made this law. This is happening. We want to put an end to this. This is happening. And we want to get rid of this. We want to stop kids from being shot by drive-by shootings. We want to stop racist people from going into public areas and shooting people. We want to stop both sides of the biggest races in this country for doing crazy stuff. Not just black people. White people like that runs into stores and shoot people. We want them in jail for 20 years. We want them in jail for 20 years, man. Or better. Whatever you want to do, take his life, whatever. He took lives, why not? If we base it on an equal trade, he took lives. Guess you took more than one. That's your life, buddy. Hey, you can't be nice about this. There's no way to be. That's what you're looking for. See, I'm gonna tell you your hang-up. I'm gonna tell you American hang-up. You're always looking for a certain attitude. What am I supposed to be nice about this? I can't. How am I gonna be nice about it? How are you gonna incorporate nice into crime laws? If you don't change these laws and make them tougher, if you don't do it, what you're going to find is everything gets worse. Because we're about to hit another point, if you don't notice. Excuse me. We're about to hit another point in this country. Violence is going to be everywhere. People are influenced by Call of Duty, all these shooting games, and they think that life is some big video game. It's not. This is not 007. This is not Call of Duty. That's a video game. COVID is not a video game. COVID-19 is not a video game. While you got all these people that think it's a game, COVID is not a game. You can't wish it away, and you can't play it away, and you can't stop playing this game if it was one. This one doesn't stop because it's just a matter of someone else bringing it over here and starting it all over again. I can't make this up. In other words, for COVID to leave the world has to be cleaned. You know that's not going to happen, man. Because people are too greedy. They're not going to do what it takes to help everyone. That's another test they failed. America has to clean up the world. Yeah, you have big responsibility. And unfortunately, you can't rely on anybody else to clean up the whole planet from COVID. That's going to be your task, buddy. Yeah. Who else going to do it? Who else has the capability of doing it? Africa can't do it. Okay? Europe won't do it. Australia's not going to do it. China's not going to do it. So who's going to clean up COVID out the world? And America's not going to do it. And America's not going to do it because they're too greedy and too selfish. So we're not getting rid of COVID because it's everywhere, and it just is a matter of someone else coming over here from somewhere else and starting it all over again. That's what you have to understand. If we got down to 0 cases consistently, right? All it takes is someone from another country, another continent, to come over here and start cases all over again. That's what I'm trying to show you. This is the realization that I've come to, that a lot of you are refusing to accept. You're refusing to accept it. I'll see how you do it. But the reality is man, it's a means to an end. COVID is the means to an end, and God has given everybody time to get themselves together. But it's no way you can sit here and logically tell me, scientifically, literally, technically tell me that there's a way where COVID is going to be gone from the whole world. And it's in nooks and crannies everywhere. Everywhere. Woods, cities, country towns, different countries, near deserts, near rainforests. It's just everywhere. It's in every landscape you could think about. Every type of living you could think about. And all it takes for it to all start over again is consistent people from different places coming here. And it starts all over. All over, man. You see how it first started? It wasn't even 20 cases. It was 1 case here, then a couple cases there. That's all it takes for this stuff to start all over. Now, that's reality. That's what you have to incorporate into your reality. Is that if this is just an educated guess. If it's everywhere, if we clean up and it's still being everywhere, then anyone can start it all over again. It's simple. This is simple. This is simple. Why they telling you it's gonna go away? How? You have to clean up the whole planet. So the uncertainty is real. Whether you want to accept it or not, you want to be an optimistic person, okay? You can be optimistic. I'm gonna be a realist. Because you know what's better than an optimist? A realist. Hey, you're not gonna survive being an optimist, buddy. You're gonna survive being a realist. That's how you're gonna survive. Because I remember people didn't even believe that COVID was real. Some people didn't even believe it was real, let alone it going away. They didn't even believe it was real. That's not a realist. That's an optimist. You got so many people that give these positive teachings in your community, so much so that when reality hits you like a ton of bricks, you still are in denial of the reality that's in front of you. You have to become a realist. That's not opposing to God, with you incorporating reality into your thought process. That's what y'all got to start doing. You got to start incorporating reality into your thought process, and into sensing your environment, and as far as defining your environment. You can't define your environment not incorporating reality of your environment. We all wish we could do that, but you can't. This shooting and stuff ain't gonna stop until people learn to pass tougher laws. Because what's gonna be the difference from today and tomorrow? What's the difference? Someone else could do the same thing. What's the difference? You see what I'm saying? There is nothing there that's gonna make any change from that shooting to now. What's going to change the difference? The only thing that's going to change the mentality of people like that is tougher laws, man. If you know it's 20 to 35 years for stuff like that, I guarantee you're not going to want to do 2 decades in an ever-changing prison system. Ever-changing. It's always changing. Because all the crazy people that's doing stuff is coming into the prison system. So the streets is becoming more crazy. Then they bring that crazy inside the prison. And the prison turns up more and gets worse and worse and worse. That's why prisons are worse. Because the criminals are fresh criminals straight off the street. Bring that mentality into the prison house. And the prisons adapt to that. And that becomes the new standard. So you'll be 20 years in a ever-changing prison system. Getting crazier and crazier because people on the streets are coming there. So you could settle in and regulate the prison system if it was the same people, because they get to know each other, understand each other. But it's an ever-changing situation. And no one is going to sign up for something like that, surrounded by nothing but criminals of every type, doing that for 20 years, surrounded by criminals for 20 years. Nobody's signing up for that, man. But yet, you hold it back, and I think you hold it back because you don't want to offend black people. I'm just calling it how it is. This is my opinion. I feel like you think that if we make tougher laws, then people are going to interpret that as these laws are for black people. 20 years for violent crimes. Yeah, they made that for black people. No, we made that for Americans. Take a look around. That's why all you have to do is explain to sound-minded people the things that are going on that are beyond race, period. Because at the end of the day, if we don't make tougher laws, you can't even protect these people. You can't even protect these people you call Americans, whether they're white or black. You can't protect nobody. But you think you're doing that by not making tougher laws, but you can't do it without making tougher laws. You can't do it. You can't protect the community without tougher laws, man. That's what it comes down to. Tougher laws. And you're not going to change that. You're not going to change these. How are you going to protect black people with racist white people like that without tougher laws? So you're scared of offending them, but you can't protect them without making tougher laws. So in other words, these crazy people mess it up for everybody. You gotta have more protection through the law system, and they're the cause of it. It's the seasons, the times that we live in. Remember, I told you about incorporating the reality of your environment. You're in a time where people just walk in stores and shoot people. So you gotta have tougher laws. You're in a time when people are bugged out. You gotta have tougher laws. And if black people or any other people can't look around and see the need for that, then you're one of those people that are not incorporating reality into your everyday walk of life and perspective. I shouldn't have to point out to you that this is not applied to black people. I shouldn't have to point that out at this point. I shouldn't have to point it out. You can see everything you can look at all of this and say, yeah, people pushing people in front of trains and all this kind of stuff. Going to stores and shooting people all around all these places and stuff, clubs and restaurants and stuff. If you're paying attention to the news, there's no way you can act like 20 years given to violent, senseless crimes is a black law. This last shooting should show you should be willing to shut this country down. That's how you got to get. 20 years or better for that. What happened? What you gonna wait for 10 years? 10 of these situations? So what are you waiting for? That's what I'm saying. People don't even know what they're doing. I think they shell-shocked. Some people, they shell-shocked. See, I was built for war. I'm built for it. Some people are built for it. I think I am because I survive. I survive everything. That's why I think I'm a soldier. I adapt to everything and survive everything. Both of it. So, that's the solution. Some people sitting up here talking about, well, what is it going to take for it to change? Tougher laws. If you don't have tougher laws, criminals are not going to be challenged. You have to challenge them through the law system. Okay, I can't do that because that's too risky. I don't think even these racists, they're not willing to go to jail for 20 years. You might have some that would try to play the sacrificial lamb or all this kind of stuff for their overall cause. But that's going to clean up everything for the most part. 20 years, these people are trying to send out statements. They know they're not killing the world. He knew he wasn't going to kill the planet Earth, right? He knew he didn't have enough capability to kill the planet Earth. So what was he doing? He was making a statement of how much he hates you. That's what it was. He wanted to feel you die while you around people that ain't doing nothing. You got it too good. You don't even know it. You're ungrateful. Yeah. Because you playing around people that ain't doing nothing. You playing around people like they're terrorists when you got a full-blown terrorist blowing people's heads off in the grocery store. The least place you would think somebody would be shot, they thought they would be shot and killed. I'm just going to run my errands. It's safe in here. Grocery store is not really I'm keeping 100, a store where everybody's getting liquor and cigarettes and all of that out of there. I'm going to a store where it's a food store. They probably thinking like that. It's all good, this, that, and they had ease and everything. Worst situation that could have happened. Killed at the hands of a racist. That's worse. That's terrible. Well, I would say being killed by another black person is terrible. Worse, the worst. You wouldn't think that would happen. Number 2 would be a racist. One of the worst deaths they had to experience. In these times that we live in, there should be no reason a black person should be scared of dying from a racist white person. You know why it's going on? Because there are not tough enough laws. That's why. You give people 80 years, you start jacking this up, man. 20 years or better, man, that cleans up the whole community overnight. The hood, everybody started knowing that. 20 years, these crazy white people too, in the sticks, they started knowing that. These rural areas where they nest at, these racist people nest in these rural places, because any city is too mixed up. That's why they're always on the outskirts, because they can't stand to live among all different types of people. That's what it is. So they gravitate to rural places. Take notes, cops. Take notes, FBI. Take notes, CIA. These racist white supremacists nest in rural places, rural towns, because they are not willing to coexist with other races. So where do you think they're gonna go? They ain't gonna be in no major cities for the most part. But some will be there for the sake of incorporating white supremacy in a city. So you got those who sacrifice, even though they can't stand other races, they will sacrifice their life to incorporate white supremacy in most great metropolises. I mean, some people, they about that life. Now that's a racist. That's a racist. While you sitting up here wondering about